Welcome to the Omnibus Twins gaming channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Fairy Tale. So, to begin a game, you're going to be drawing 5 cards off of the top of the deck. Those 5 cards you're going to take into your hand. You are going to select one card, place it in front of yourself, and hand the deck to the other player. The other player is going to select a card that they want, place it in front of themselves, and then return it in opposing directions. So in the first set of turns, you're going to turn it to the right, in the second set to the left, and repeating that pattern. There will be a total of 4 turns in the entire game, and you're going to continue to do this until the entire hand is exhausted. So, once you have your cards, you're going to take a look, and each player is going to place a card face down in front of them. Once they have placed that card down in front of them and everyone is ready, they will all simultaneously be flipped. So to start my turn, I have played Children of the Dragon. Children of the Dragon is a unique card that is worth the number of every Children of the Dragon card that I have in front of me on my final turn. So presently, this card will be worth 1 point. So we do this again, and I will place a card. My opponents will all place their cards, and then we will simultaneously flip. Now, once again, I've chosen a fairly unique card. This card requires that I flip a dragon card. So that forces me to turn over my Children of the Dragon card, rendering it 0 points. This card, however, is worth 6 points, making it entirely worth that turn of events for me. So we'll do this one more time. Everyone will prepare their card and flip simultaneously. And I have again played a fairly unique card here. This card allows me to unflip 1 dragon card. So, I gain 1 point for this. I unflip my Children of the Dragon card, and I end this turn with 8 points in front of me. Now we will take the remaining cards that we had in our hand, and we will discard them face down in the discard pile. They'll be discarded face down so that no one else at the table can see the number of any cards remaining in the deck. So you'll see, for example, on the Children of the Dragon card, it will tell you exactly how many of that card there are in the deck. If my opponents were to see that I discarded 3 Children of the Dragon cards, they would know, because I have 1 in front of me and I discarded 3, there's only 3 left in the entire deck. So we want to discard face down to make sure that everyone stays on equal playing terms. So we will redraw our cards from the deck and continue once more with 3 more cards, doing this a total of 4 times. So I'll take this turn very quickly to show you exactly how a second turn hand should turn out. Now, I've played 2 more Children of the Dragon. Now, if you remember right, Children of the Dragon are worth the number of them that I have in play, making each one worth 3 for a total of 9 points. That's why we collect the cheap little cards. They're worth quite a lot at the end. I still have my Dragon's Lair and my Silver Dragon. And then I added a story card from the Advanced Cards selection. This story card is going to give me additional points at the end of the game based on whether or not I have the most Dragonvale cards in my play area. So, seeing my play area as it is, I'm fairly secure that I will end the game with the most Dragonvale cards. And we will continue taking 2 more of these turns. A total of 4 turns. You should end the game with 12 cards in front of you. All the scores will be totaled up between you and all of your opponents, and the highest score at the end of the game wins. Now, let's take a look really quickly at a couple cards from each different set to get an idea of the artwork and the different standout ideas held in each of the main factions of the deck. Let's start with the Dragon Veil cards.
This here is going to be a Dragon Veil story. You can tell it's a story by the little book at the top of the card. Dragon symbol in the right corner, and the number of points it's worth in the upper left corner. It'll tell you the title of the card here, and the conditions it will take to score the points. So this one here will require a silver dragon and a dragon's lair. That is the story card. The next card we have is a golden dragon. There is only one of these in the entire deck. This here has a special condition off to the side that is hunt all dark cards.
Hunting is a special ability that will enable you to nullify the effects of every single shadow card played when this card is revealed. All other cards, shadow cards revealed simultaneously to this one, will be flipped.
All right. This card here is a character card, as signified by the head up in the upper top of the card. And then we have a final card here. This is a Children of the Dragon card. As you can see, the points number over in the top, is an asterisk. This means that it is worth whatever the condition is at the bottom. So the Children of the Dragon, as Zachary said before, is worth the number of Children of the Dragon cards you have. Next set here, we have the Knights. This is a Knight story card. So once again, you have the Knight symbol in the corner, what the card is, and the number of points, the title, and once again the condition down at the bottom. Alright. This here is the Bard card. So this one has an asterisk time 3, and it's a character card. So it is worth, times 3, the number of Elvish Warriors?
Elvish Warriors.
Elvish Warrior cards you have. Alright. And then the final card we have for the Knights. It's another character card with 1 point. You unflip one knight that you have in front of you. If you cannot unflip a card, then you just play it and it's worth a point. Now we have my personal favorites, the fairies. This is going to be Fairy Tale Chapter 4. Fairy story, number of points. And this one is you score 9 points if you have the Fairy Queen. There's only one of her in the entire deck, so the chances of getting that are very low. However, if you do, that's a 9 points direct in your pocket. Second card we have is another one of those asterisk cards. Asterisk, number of the mischievous fairies you have. These are wonderful cards, and I love the artwork on this one. And the final one is the Fairy Queen in question. She, once again, is a hunt all shadow cards. She is worth 3 points on her own, but with that card earlier, that's going to be a total of 11 cards. My apologies. Alright, finally we have the shadow cards. This is going to be Shadow King's Tale Chapter 3. Tale, number 7 points. If you have the most tail cards, so any card with that in the upper section of the card is going to count for this card. So if you have the most out of everyone on the table, you will win 7 points. This one here is the Trickster. Zachary, would you like to explain the Trickster?
Okay, so the Trickster here is a card with the ability Almighty. Almighty is an ability that will allow this card to be representative of any other card in the entire game. What this means is that if you have a story card that requires a special, one-of-a-kind card, you could use this card to fulfill that condition. However, regardless of what this card becomes, it will always be worth a negative point.
So there's minus 1 point. This counts as a character card as well. That is important for certain cards, as you saw with the tail cards. There are also cards that count for characters and home bases. Alright, and now we have the Egg of Chaos. As you can see, this counts as anything. Anything at all, and it's worth 2 points total. However, the Egg of Chaos has a special condition. Zachary?
This is a really complicated card the first time you take it out on the table, and is actually my favorite card in the entire game. So, as Sarah said, this counts as tails, it counts as castles, it counts as people. It also counts as Dragonvale, Knights, Fairy, and Shadow. It also counts as Children of the Dragon, Mischievous Fairies, and Homesteaders simultaneously. So, this card is only worth 2 points. Children of the Dragon, by itself, is only worth 1 point. But when I put this into play, Children of the Dragon here reads as if there are 2 of them in play, so it becomes worth 2 points instead of its initial 1. This is really cool if you're playing a lot of the lower level characters, because you immediately gain the additional points for every single one of them you already have in play. That is the essence of the game broken down here. There are some interesting little combinations that you can pull off with some of the nasty little shadow cards mixed into the deck, and some of the unusual story cards that you'll come across as you play, but we don't want to spoil all of the cards for you, so just a little taste of what they do should be enough to entice you into playing the game, and we'll see you back at the table. Alright, now that we've had a chance to look at the way this works on the table, let's kind of talk about our various pluses and minuses on the game. So, as far as ease of learning this game, it's fairly intuitive. Everything that a card does is pretty much printed on the card, except in a couple minor cases like you're going to see on the advanced cards, and those are really going to tell you right in here what they do based on the symbols. It's fairly simple. Where the difficulty in learning this game is going to come in is actually getting it into your head to look at the little markers on the cards that are going to explain to you how many of a particular card are in the deck, and then work out in your head, you know, what chances that's going to give you to build that particular set.
Whether or not it's a good idea to try it at that time, you'll always have to keep an eye on everybody else's card. Played a couple games where somebody wasn't paying attention and the card they needed was already on the table, and then they took the card that was played on that card, and they couldn't do it.
And make sure that when you're going into the game, you actually understand the way that certain cards score. For example, you have like the bronze dragons here that are worth 3 times the number of Knights of the Round Table. Now you can collect these all night and get them all out in front of you, but unless you get that Knight of the Round Table, you've scored no points. And we, again, in one of our games, had somebody go ahead and do that. They collected all of these dragons and didn't get a single knight, and kind of ruined their game for them.
Yeah, a little frustrated for them.
So when you're playing, you do need to really pay attention to the way that a card scores. Outside of that, this is a very, very simple game to play. It's easy to teach.
Very, very easy to learn.
Any age range above about 8 years old is going to be able to grasp this fairly well. It makes for a really good family game. It also makes for a really good game to out the plays for blood kind of person at your table. Because we've got these shadow cards in the deck that do all kinds of nasty things, but with everybody playing simultaneously, if somebody continually plays these shadow cards,
they're going to get swamped by everybody else at the table.
Everyone at the table is going to play the shadow cards against them next time.
Or the hunt cards against all of their shadow cards.
Yeah. So, as far as that goes, you know, really easy to play. It does a great job of balancing itself at the table, where people who are playing overboard, are going to absolutely get smacked back down by everybody at the table, and the people who are no threat are going to have cards handed to them all night because nobody thinks they're going to, you know, have the sense to use them. So it does really self-balance fairly well. Where do you think that you would place this on, like, ease of play, ease of learning?
Definitely 4.5, somewhere in that range. Very,
Yeah.
very easy to learn. Once you've played one round, you've got it down.
Yeah.
It's a great game to learn.
I'm right there with you. I think this is easily an upper 4. I haven't seen too many games that are easier to learn how to play. The only thing that I have against the ease of play is sometimes when they throw these little symbols on the card and you have to go back to the rule book to see what they're talking about. Hunt is a good example, being one of the advanced variants. So
Yeah.
So as far as the quality of the game components goes, you're basically looking at a card game. It's a nice heavy stock card, so you're not going to have any real problems with them coming bent out of shape or humidity destroying them. But they're not silk finished.
You're going to be passing them around a lot. You're probably going to want card sleeves for them.
Yeah, the rounding on the edges of the card is fairly sharp, so you do want to sleeve them. Otherwise, when you shuffle, you're going to tear up the edges of your card. Box, brilliant. Both decks fit perfectly. They don't intershuffle with one another.
Meaning when you put sleeves on them.
Even when you put, there's still room left over. So once I've got sleeves on them, I have a fair idea my box is going to puff a little bit, but it really should still fit fairly well. You might have to rubber band the box. That being said, this is a brilliant sized box. This is something you can take with you absolutely anywhere. It is a great convention game for that purpose. Backpack size, ready to go. Rule book quality, really simple little two-sided document, fairly easy to read, and it's on, you know, a decent paper, color, everything, so it's going to be around as long as the game is. So component quality, yeah, it's not bad component quality. I'm going to give it 3 because it's really average component quality.
I would give it about a 3 as well.
Yeah, the only major redeeming feature as far as the component quality goes is the art, which is absolutely above and beyond.
It's gorgeous for every character.
Yeah, and just take a chance to look back at the table segment and look at some of the way the art is. It's this beautiful kind of 1980s-ish anime sort of art. Yeah, very cool stuff. So, not really enough to elevate it beyond that average level, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would stick at about a 3. If you add in the art, I would say 3.5, just to allow for how awesome the art is.
Yeah, it's very good art, but I would like to have seen some kind of finish on the cards, or maybe a more rounded cut to the sides. It would have helped with the play a little bit. So, as far as replay value goes,
I could play it 1,000,000 times.
fun factor,
Very fun.
this is an awesome game. This is gonna be early forecast here. I'm probably gonna put this in my top 20 for the year.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
It might even make my top 10 for the year. We'll have to wait and see on that one. A couple things that you should know about this game. Number 1, this is designed by Satoshi Nakamura. You will see Richard Garfield in the credits because Richard Garfield came up with this variant for this game. Don't play it. Seriously. A team trading card variant. No, it's weird. It complicates things, and now you've got cards going around between team members. By ignoring the rules on cards, it just confuses a really simple game. A team variant in general doesn't make a lot of sense in this game, especially since, in my opinion, this game is best played with 3 people. It plays 2 to 5. I think 3 is the sweet spot.
Three is pretty nice. 5, there's always going to be one person who takes forever.
Yeah, this
Always.
game is it's a little prone to analysis paralysis. Not too bad, but there's always going to be that guy in your group.
Always.
Yeah, there's that perfect move you're waiting for. Now,
Stop.
this is awesome for 3 for one particular reason. Most of you who have played various games with 3 players will know no matter what you do, one guy's going to get smacked down the whole time because the other 2 are going to team up. That doesn't happen in this game. In this game, everybody's out for themselves, and that one guy who's, everybody else is trying to smack down the whole time, most of the time will squeak out a victory. So you really have to play even in order to get anywhere in this game. Mm-hmm. So, it really does, just the way the game plays out and all of that, it ups the value a great deal, in my opinion.
I would say very much so, yes.
Especially at the price point. If you guys get this during one of its off and on printings, you're getting it for $20, $25, and it's many, many, many hours of play for that. Another little thing to think about here in this game, the Expert Rules Advanced cards, don't play the game without them. Ignore the rule book about them being a variant and all that. You have to play with them.
They make the game all around better. It's a nicer game with them in it.
Particularly with like the story cards,
Love the
because
story cards.
Yeah, they're really what bring the overarching tactics into the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can spend the game playing with the regular rule set, just collecting a couple of cards a turn, and that's all you need to win. But once you add in those story cards, somebody can be losing the whole game because they're going out for one of these cards that's 9 points that has to have one card out of the entire, 86 card deck. And then, of course, they'll sneak it in and win the game. So it really does place a lot more strategy. Also, the Egg of Chaos, my favorite card in the deck.
Very good card.
Only worth 2 points, but you start collecting all of those little low point asterisk characters, and now you have huge points really fast. I mean, I squeaked out a game with, 170?
Somewhere around there.
12 cards, 170 points. They add up really fast with these.
Fast.
Overall, man, I give this thing a 5 as far as fun factor and replay value.
Absolutely a 5.
So, yeah, general across the board for everything, condensing it down, absolutely upper 4.
Upper 4.
It doesn't quite squeak in the unicorn. We're not giving this a 5 right off. Component quality could have been a little better, and some of the cards could have been clarified a little bit more.
A little bit.
But it's nothing. It's an amazing game.
It's very nice.
We absolutely give this our highest recommendation.
We're going to be playing this game for a long time to come.
So, we hope to see you guys again on our next review. If you have games that you're really curious to know about, go ahead and post that down in the comments. Anything that you want to, see in our videos, just let us know about it. We'd like to hear some feedback. And we'll see you guys later.